Gabbin with Jessa. Today, we are talking about WandaVision Episode 3, a full-on discussion, spoilers like always, and I am starting to think I'm figuring out what's going on. I still have a lot of questions, but you know what? At the end of this episode, I realized that the ball is definitely going to start rolling. We're starting to get into the actual, nitty-gritty stuff, while still staying in, the sitcom format. And so, you know what? Let's just jump into the discussion. Like I said, this is going to be filled with spoilers, where I'm basically just going to give a rundown of the discussion, and then I'm going to give some of my thoughts and opinions on it. So, as always, it is based on another era of sitcoms. We are now in the 70s. We are now in color, which is super cool, and Wanda is pregnant. And so it's a very typical kind of pregnancy episode. You know, all the gags and the funny stuff that goes down during a pregnancy episode, because apparently every sitcom on television has to have a crazy pregnancy story. So Wanda and Vision are pregnant, as we know. They're discussing baby names. They're painting the nursery. The doctor said she's about 4 months along, but as soon as the doctor leaves, Wanda turns around and her stomach's even bigger, so we are realizing that it's not going to be like a normal pregnancy. And instead of going through the typical 9-10 month process of being pregnant, she's actually going through it within hours. So she goes from 4 months to 6 months, and so Vision's calculating. He's like, oh, by next Friday or this Friday, you should probably be giving birth, and it's Wednesday, so what the heck? So Wanda begins to have some contractions. Vision looks it up. It's oh, it's Braxton Hicks contractions. We've heard from Friends is when I first heard about it. But as she's having these contractions, she's actually setting off the electricity, going off the power, so the vacuum starts moving on its own, the lights are flickering, so much is going on, and it's not just affecting their house, it's affecting the entire neighborhood as well. And so this keeps going on. Vision's no, it's Braxton Hicks, we're fine. And then her water breaks, because you realize that that's the metaphor that they're going with, because the piping bursts and starts to rain all in their house. So Vision's I think it's time to go get the doctor. So he runs and tries to get the doctor, and at this moment it's when Geraldine comes in, and she's oh, my pipes just burst out of nowhere, I need a bucket, can you come help me get a bucket? And Wanda's oh yeah, sure, it's fine. But she's also trying to hide the fact that she is pregnant. No one knows that she is pregnant, especially because she's basically 9 months pregnant at this point and about to give birth, but none of her neighbors know about it because of the time frame. It's each and every day is a different episode, so it's not we go through 10 years of sitcoms or whatever. It's a day at a time, I believe, is how it's going. That's what it seems to me. So we started in the 50s, that was Monday. We started in the 60s, that was Tuesday, and now it's Wednesday, so that's how I'm kind of getting it. So she's, doing the gag of trying to hide that they're pregnant, so she's putting a flower pot in front of her, or a bowl of fruit, something like that, so she can hide it from Geraldine, but she can no longer handle it because she is about to give birth. So Geraldine is there, and she's the only one there, because Vision's not back with the doctor yet, because the doctor's actually about to go on a vacation to Hawaii or Florida or something, I don't really know. And so Geraldine is sitting there, and she's giving birth, or Geraldine's not giving birth, she's helping Wanda give birth to their first son, Tommy. So Vision returns back with the doctor. The doctor's just kind of in a haze, and then he's oh, congrats, I'm going back on vacation. Vision's upset because he missed the birth, but then Wanda goes right back into labor. Turns out they are having twins, a boy and a girl, or 2 boys, I don't know why I said that, and the other one is named Billy, because during the episode they were arguing about the name. They knew it was going to be a boy, so they were trying to decide between Billy and Tommy, so they named the first one Tommy and the second one Billy. I believe that's how it went. Either way, they're both Billy and Tommy. And I don't know if this was intentional or if I was trying to find something, but during the scene when we're looking at the babies, they look kind of they're human babies, but they kind of look a little more red, how Vision's face is red. His actual face is red because of the machine that he is. It looked to me that the babies' faces were slightly more red than a normal baby face would be, or human face would be. That's the vibe that I was getting. So that's a little bit of Vision that I could see in them, because I said, they're basically they're human babies. But I don't know if I was also just looking into it too much, but that is what I thought when I was looking at them. So if that's the case, I think that's really cool. I'm really curious to see if these babies will grow fast, if they'll be like normal babies, what they will be like. I'm just super excited to see all of it. Vision leaves, he walks the doctor out, and he notices that Agnes and Herb are being like real fishy. Like they've been gossiping the whole episode. At the beginning of the episode, Herb was kind of like taking like a bush cutter thing. I don't remember what it's called. You know, like the really long. I'll put a picture here because I think I know what I'm talking about. He was using one of those to cut his bushes, and he was like going through the wall, and like Vision's like, "Hey man, like you're going through the wall there. Like you good?" And Herb's like, "Yeah, man, I'm fine." And then throughout the episode, we see him talking to Agnes. Like I said, real fishy like. They're gossiping. And it sounds like about Wanda and Vision and this whole thing that's going on. So Wanda is alone with the twins and with Geraldine. And so they begin reflecting on life. Geraldine is saying how she doesn't feel like she has a home. She doesn't have any family here. She doesn't really know anyone here in the neighborhood, and Wanda is just very emotional because she tells Geraldine, she's like, "Yeah, I had a twin brother, like I was a twin." And this is when the ball starts really rolling, and this is when I started getting super excited. So Geraldine was like, "Yeah, he was killed by Ultron." And Wanda kind of looks at her like, "How the heck did you know that? Like, I literally just told you that I was twin. There was no way you could have known that." So there's this tension going on between them. And then Wanda looks down, and Geraldine is wearing this pendant that Wanda now notices. And it is a sword symbol. And she keeps questioning Geraldine, being like, "Who are you? Why are you here? Get out of my home." And Geraldine's like, "No, no, like, it's fine, it's fine. Like, what are you talking about?" And Wanda's like, "No, get out of my home, get out of my home." And then we see Geraldine like go through time, and she's flown out of the house because she ends up in the middle of a field right outside of their town, and a bunch of agents are coming to find her lying in the grass. So it's probably assumed that Wanda used her like powers to shoot her away out of the home because she didn't want Geraldine there anymore, because she knows that something's fishy, and we know something's fishy, and now things are going to start to get good. I can already tell. And of course, they are still at it with the commercials during these episodes. So for this one, it was for Hydra Soak Bath Powder. I've never heard of bath powder before. I'm not sure if that was a popular thing in the 70s, but of course, Hydra is involved, which, similar to the last episode we had when we had Strucker watches, now we have Hydra soap, and Strucker and Hydra, they go hand in hand. That was a lot of fun. I love that they put in these commercials, and I'm trying to piece together what they mean as well, because we had the Stark one at first, and we know from Age of Ultron, the movie, that at first, Pietro and Wanda did not like Tony Stark because they saw that Stark Industries had created the bomb or explosive device that took down the tower that they were living in, that their parents lived in and died in, which inspired them to go work for Strucker, as they didn't really have anywhere else to go, which is how they got their powers in the MCU. So now that I've watched 3 episodes, we are halfway through. This one was only about 33 minutes long as well, so I'm still disappointed that they're not hour-long episodes, but I guess we'll get over that. I think I finally have started to get the basic idea of what the heck is going on. And I think for that, it's Wanda is definitely being controlled by someone. She's being manipulated by someone. Her brain is not acting like normal Wanda. And I think it has something to do with this because Vision is not alive. He's dead. He died in Infinity War and did not make it back for Endgame. When Hulk snapped his fingers, he didn't make it back. He was one of the very few, I think just 2, him and Black Widow, who were not in the final battle in Endgame because they were no longer with us because of the events of what happened getting the Soul Stone and getting the Mind Stone out of Vision's head. And Wanda even makes a comment to Hawkeye because he's very upset that he lost Black Widow, and she says something about, they know that we did it, in referencing to both Black Widow and Vision. Or at least that's the vibe that I got, and I think that was the main intention of it. So obviously Wanda is not in her right mindset. I believe she is being controlled by someone, and I think that the people involved in this controlling have something to do with Agnes and Herb, because they were very fishy with their talking. They have something to do with it. I think the whole neighborhood actually has something to do with it, because especially from the previous episode with the For the Children chant that they were doing, that definitely has something to do with it. So I think that they are definitely not on the side of Wanda and Vision, but I do believe that Geraldine is on the side of Wanda and Vision. I believe she is with the Sword Agency, which I think, from doing some research now that I've kind of figured this out, I think that they're like a branch off of S.H.I.E.L.D. We know that S.H.I.E.L.D. no longer exists, but I believe that Sword is going to be here to help Wanda and Vision. Mostly Wanda, because I'm still not sure what we're going to do with Vision, because he's still dead. But I definitely think that Geraldine is on the side of Wanda, and Herb and Agnes, mostly Agnes, are against them. They're working against them somehow. They're trying to keep them in this world that they live in, while things are probably happening in the outside world as well. Also, I just want to give a shout out to Paul Bettany. I think that he is doing a great job in these funny role of Vision. I was watching with my friend, and she said that she likes a more stern Vision from like the movies, and I agree with that. I think that he did a great job in that as well, portraying that version of Vision. But this is different, and I think this is supposed to be a little more fun, and seeing what maybe Vision would be like if he wasn't created in the world that he was created in. So, I don't know. I love Paul Bettany, especially in this episode. He just made me laugh the entire time. And so, I don't know. I like Vision in this. But I believe that is all of the opinions that I have. That's basically the rundown of the episode. Like I said, these episodes haven't been very long, so there hasn't been much to discuss with them, and I think I'm finally starting to get the pieces together. Kind of. I still have many questions, but that makes a great show that they keep you wondering. Let me know what you guys think. Have you been watching WandaVision? What do you think of it? Have you watched the most recent episode? What's your opinions on everything? What do you think is going to go down? Leave all those down in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, keep on gabbing.